The Montreal Canadiens 2021 season is upon us. I cannot wait for this to get going. First and foremost, what you gotta know, we face the Leafs Wednesday night. Then we got some games against Vancouver and Edmonton shortly following that. But oh my God, I am so pumped that coming into this Canadian division, which is absolutely gonna be a battle from start to finish with series style play, facing the same teams over and over again. The rivalries are gonna be nuts. I'm pumped that the Montreal Canadiens, at this point in time, and likely for the long-term future here, are icing a team that looks like they will compete. And by compete, I mean compete. They look tough. They're strong defensively. They're deep in all positions. And the goaltending tandem, that is something to admire. This will be some of the most entertaining and best hockey we've seen in our lifetimes. This Canadian division is going to be insane, and I'm going to preview this season for you as best I can. We're going to go through the entire roster, top to bottom, and then I'm going to tell you what I think the Habs' weaknesses might be, and give you a little preview of how I think this season is going to go, maybe preview some rivalries a bit. Why don't we just get right into it here? Line number one, Phillip Danault at center. Over on the right, Brendan Gallagher, and of course, you guessed it, over on the left, Thomas Tatar. Let's go. One of the best 5-on-5 lines in hockey. Possess the puck, strong defensively, and they can throw up the offense as well. This is the line that you match up against the top lines in the NHL, in the Canadian division. These guys will be facing the Matthews, the Petterssons, the McDavids, all the top line. This is who will be facing them, and this is a tough line to get anything going against, really. I love how Phillip Danault's career has been going. Getting respect in Selke talks now. Just a strong skater and just reliable all over the ice. And I think he still has a very important role on this team, along with the young centers that we'll get into later. Then on the right, heart and soul, Brendan Gallagher, assistant captain. We all know what he brings. Just the constant pestering and forechecking and grinding, gathering pucks in the corners, the net front presence that he brings, scoring all the dirty goals, shooting from all over the ice and managing to pot them. Putting up, becoming a consistent 30-goal scorer in the NHL, and he's got a fairly underrated playmaker to work with there in Danault at center. In 71 games, Phil Danault had 13 goals and 34 assists for 47 points. He's great behind the net, gathering the puck and then getting it into the slot area. He's got a good connection with Brendan Gallagher there, so look out for that. And then on the left, our leading scorer last season with 61 points. He does it all. He's got the skill. He's got the hands. He can finish. He can make those silky passes. Thomas Tatar, what an addition he has been to the Montreal Canadiens the last couple years. Love what he's brought and cannot be happier with a line like this. We know what we're going to get, so I'm not surprised that these guys are line one going to stay together because they're just too strong. And then we go down to line two. I am hyped to see these guys play together. We got Nick Suzuki at center, Jonathan Drouin at left wing, reunited from the chemistry that they had in the return to play. 7 points each, leading our team in the return to play playoffs. So good to see these two back together. Nick Suzuki with the mind for the game, very intelligent defensively, strong stick with the takeaways, but the skill on the kid, the shot on the kid, the vision on him, what he did in his rookie season with 41 points in 71 games, very impressive to see. And Jonathan Drouin, we're hoping this is the year that, I say it every year, but I'm really, really hoping this is the year. He couldn't have better line mates. This is the first time, really, in his tenure with Montreal where he has a complete line of guys playing where they should be. We all know Jonathan Drouin is a very skilled forward, and he just hasn't been able to put it all together yet in the NHL and reach his ceiling. But let's think back to his Q days when he was playing with Nathan MacKinnon and big, overage power forward Stéphane Fournier. This will be the first time in the NHL he has that similar makeup of a line, and that line in the Q was one of the best in the history of that league. So Drouin will have his smart and skilled center in Suzuki, and the big power forward I'll mention in a moment. But hopefully we get the Drouin back from pre-injury before he got absolutely train wrecked by Ovechkin when he had 14 points in 19 games, because if that happens, this second line could really establish itself as a serious offensive threat for the Canadiens. If we get that Drouin with Suzuki, along with newcomer and the perfect right winger for these two players, Josh Anderson, that this line will be absolutely complete and very, very difficult to play against. Nick Suzuki will take a lot of the defensive responsibility, as well as Josh Anderson 5-on-5 with his speed, with his big body, 6'3", 225, something like that. Josh Anderson is a rare breed of player. What an addition to the Montreal Canadiens. There are not many guys around the league like him with this type of size, with the speed to go along with it, and the finishing ability. He can score off the rush. He's got a fantastic shot, very hard and accurate. He's got a 19-goal season under his belt and a 27-goal season under his belt. This adds such a unique and important element to the Montreal Canadiens. Old school power forward who can intimidate, who can fight and hold his own. He's won fights against Chara. He's been in fights with Wilson and Jamie Benn and held his own. This guy is the real deal. 26 years old, entering his prime. Cannot wait to see what he brings to the Montreal Canadiens. We've needed a power forward for a long time. Not only do we get one, but we get one of the best ones in the league with a right-handed shot, which is very important to have. And yeah, this line, I cannot wait to see what they do together. Why don't we go down to the third line and talk about center Jesperi Kotkaniemi, our other very young center who is tough in his own right. This guy fork checks hard. He loves getting gritty in the corners, and he retrieves pucks very well, and he's strong. He protects the puck well when he's skating, strong through the neutral zone. He's got some very strong vision of his own, but his shot is underrated. The coaches have been asking him to use it more through training camp here, and I'm sure he is going to. He led us in goals, was tied for the lead in goals for us in the return to play. Hopefully we'll see more of that from Jesperi Kotkaniemi. He's also got some very strong line mates with him now, something he couldn't say the last 2 years. So that's good to see. That's definitely going to help him out, especially when you consider one of them is Tyler Toffoli. You know, he's been in the league a long time now. He's still somewhat young. He's just entering the prime of his career at 26 or 27 years old, but he is very responsible 5-on-5. He's strong on the power play. He's a consistent 20 to 25 goal scorer in the NHL, but he also has some skill to go along with it as well, and some passing ability. He's going to complement Kotkaniemi perfectly. And then over on their right, they get Joel Armia, another very strong defensive player. He's got a big body, strong along the boards retrieving pucks. He's really good at getting pucks loose onto his stick along the boards and winning those 50-50 puck battles. Plus, he has some serious hands in tight and a wicked shot on him as well. 16 goals in just 58 games for Joel Armia, so definitely some underrated scoring ability there. So this will be a very difficult third line to deal with, and it's going to be a very important line for the Montreal Canadiens in the 2021 season. In this Canadian division, you're going to have to rely on depth. So it's very important, and I'm very happy to see that the Habs have no lack of depth in this roster. So if Kotkaniemi takes a step forward at 20 years old, we tend to forget how young he is. He was the youngest player in the league when he jumped in at 18. Then he struggled last season, but he dealt with some injuries, came back, looked strong in the AHL, and then came in the return to play and looked strong as well. So I'm excited for what this line can bring. One thing though is Kotkaniemi isn't that strong in the faceoff dot. So you got to hope either he's improved in that area, or they're able to make up for that and win the puck back if he does end up losing his fair share of faceoffs. Now, line 4, another really strong, really fast line for the Montreal Canadiens. We have Jake Evans at center. Watch out for this kid. He spent 4 years in university after he was drafted. Came into the professional hockey world as a 22-year-old, played for Laval, and fit in right away. In his 13 games in the regular season with the Canadiens, he was well over 50% in the faceoff dot. That doesn't typically happen for rookies. Mind you, being being 24, 23, 24 once he joined the NHL. It's not like he was a young guy, but still really impressive how he held himself in the faceoff dot. But he's a very fast skater as well. He makes good decisions with the puck. He's strong defensively, and I think he's got some underrated finishing ability and skill that he'll let loose. He's not going to have a ton of minutes to really put on heavy points, but I think when he this fourth line catches other slower fourth lines from other teams in this division out there, they could really do some damage. You got Byron over on the left wing with his speed as well to go along with Evans, and we know what Byron can do. He's very strong. He's really strong defensively. I keep saying this about so many of our players, but it's true. Really strong defensively. He knocks pucks off. He's great at the takeaways, and when he gets that takeaway at the blue line as a winger, he is the one pressuring the defenseman. When he gets that takeaway, he's flying up the ice, and he can finish on breakaways. He has done a lot of work through his career, improving his ability to finish when he's one-on-one with a goalie, and he's become a consistent 20 goal scorer when healthy. He's also, for a small guy, really strong on the forecheck too, so that's great. And then over on the right, Arturi Lehkonen, extremely strong 5-on-5 player, always in the right position, very heavy forechecker, very fast skater for having a fairly big body as well. I think he's around 6 foot or 6'1", but he can fly and he can hit and he can, I've never seen a guy get as many scoring chances as him and not be able to finish. He scored 18 in his rookie season. He had quite a few, he had 13 goals last year in 70 games. So maybe over a full 82 game season here, he's coming up on possibly becoming a 20 goal scorer again. We'll have to see what he can do, but to have him on your fourth line, that's some extreme depth for the Montreal Canadiens. Now we have a few more forwards to talk about as well. And these are NHL players here that become our extra skaters. Our taxi squad looks strong. We have the addition of Corey Perry. I thought our team was going to be a pain in the ass to play against already before this addition, just because of our toughness, our forecheck, our strong defensive ability, and the size of a lot of our guys. But you add in Corey Perry, this guy can be an absolute prick on the ice. Seriously, the things he gets up to just annoy his opponents. This is the exact type of player you have if you want to go on a playoff run. He's got a really strong net front presence, good with the tips in front of the net, so he could help our power play as well, which we desperately need. And he looks strong for Dallas. Despite being up there in age, he looked strong for Dallas last year in the playoffs with 5 goals and 4 assists for 9 points in those 21 playoff games. He scored some really clutch, important goals for Dallas. And he adds another strong veteran-type mentality to this locker room. He has won absolutely every award possible, every team award possible, and that's the most important thing. Stanley Cup, World Championship, Olympic Gold, World Cup, Memorial Cup, World Juniors. It goes on and on. He's also won the Richard Rocket Trophy with a 50-goal season and a Hart Trophy as well. So what Corey Perry brings is he's got that presence around him. We've heard that from guys already in training camp, and this is a fantastic pickup. He is going to absolutely piss off people on the ice. These rivalries are going to be intense, and I'm very excited to have a guy like Corey Perry just to get in the heads of his opponent. He may take some dumb penalties here and there, but he's definitely going to draw some as well. And Corey Perry is another right shot added to this lineup as well. We've got a ton of them now. If you think Gallagher, Suzuki, Anderson, Armia, Perry, that's hard for teams to deal with. It's a lot harder for goalies to not know where the shot is going to come from when you have a good mix of left and right-handed shots. In past seasons, the Habs have not had a whole lot of righties. At one point, it was just Armia and Gallagher with those right-handed shots. So to add Suzuki, Anderson, and now Corey Perry, just in the last couple of years, it adds a very unique goal-scoring aspect to this roster. We also have Ryan Poehling sitting there. I'm not sure whether he's going to be sent down to Laval or not. He may just spend time on the taxi squad with and be surrounded by other NHL pros and jump into the lineup when we need him. Because with all this condensed schedule, all the games close up, you're going to have to rely on depth, and whether guys are injured, we're definitely going to see a rotation of guys coming in and out. I'd love to see Ryan Poehling get his game back on track. Then over to Poehling and Perry's left, you have Michael Frolik. a veteran NHLer who is strong defensively, just makes the right decisions out there. Just a solid ad by Marc Bergevin at near league minimum to get him in there. And when we deal with injuries, it won't be AHL players jumping into our lineup. It will be NHLers. So that's a seriously important part of why I think the Canadiens are going to thrive in this Canadian division, quite frankly. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If I missed something or if you just want to get in on the discussion, get at me down in the comments. And of course, check out the other videos in this series here or here. And I've got some videos with my buddy Coleman, a diehard Leafs fan, where we talk about the rest of the teams in the Canadian division, including the Toronto Maple Leafs. So check that out. And I just got to say thank you to all my viewers. There's so many of you that have been with me from the beginning, and many that have jumped into the crew along the way these last 3 years. So if you like these videos, hit the subscribe and the bell for notifications. More to come. Reaction videos after games. I'm just a diehard, passionate Habs fan who likes to discuss hockey and happens to make videos about them. So hope you enjoy what I'm doing here. Cheers, guys. Go Habs, go!